We talk a lot about recovery, but have you ever really stopped to think about what it is at its core? Not the things we're supposed to do, but the actual shape of it? Let's just sit with that idea for a few minutes. Okay, so let's start with a feeling I think we all recognize. That internal pressure, that constant voice that says, you have to get better, you have to be improving. Moving forward, right? The common wisdom is that getting better just means becoming positive again. But what if trying to force that positivity is actually making us more exhausted? This suggests that the real problem isn't about willpower. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. It's more like being stuck in a mental loop, a kind of internal echo that just won't stop. And that's not a personal failing. It's just the state the system is in. So, if the problem is being stuck in a loop, well, maybe the answer isn't to push harder inside that same loop. And that brings us to this really interesting idea. Thinking of recovery not as an action, but as a structure of release. This brings up a really key word, relaxation. Or in Japanese, yurumi. And we have to be careful with this word, right? This isn't about taking a nap or just zoning out. It's something much more subtle. It's about that internal tension, that feeling of being wound up so tight, just beginning to loosen. You know that feeling? It's like a spring that's finally slowly uncoiling. And that's the big insight here. Real change doesn't start when you do something new. It begins when that tension starts to go away. And once that tension starts to loosen, something else can happen. That loop we talked about, the constant thinking, the replaying, it can finally take a break. It can pause. And this is so important. That pause is not you giving up. It's not failure. It's actually creating a necessary space, a kind of quiet clearing where for a moment you're not trying to make sense of everything. And it's in that clearing that something different has a chance to emerge. This really puts the two ideas side by side. The way we usually think about it is all about addition, isn't it? We have to add hope, add positive energy. But this other view, this structural view, it's all about subtraction. It's about removing the need to improve. Think about that. It's not about finding the right way forward. It's about the pressure to move in any direction, just fading away for a while. This is what the source calls gradient loss, like the steep hill you were struggling to climb just flattens out for a bit. This quote captures the idea so well. It uses this metaphor of a life operating system. So when you're in that time of doing nothing, it's not a system error, it's not a crash. It's actually a built-in feature. It's the system's own time for what it calls gradient rectification. Basically, a recalibration, a defrag. It's not laziness, it's essential structural maintenance. So with that framework in mind, let's pull the camera back a bit. Let's see if we can place this idea of recovery into a much bigger picture. What is this space for really in the grand scheme of things? Instead of seeing life as a straight line, this perspective imagines it more like a spiral. And in that spiral, recovery isn't a wrong turn or a step back. It's a planned part of the journey. It's described as a breathing adjustment, a natural, essential part of the rhythm. You could almost think of it as the pause between the notes. And this all leads us to the big question, doesn't it? It's one thing to talk about this, to understand it as an idea. But to actually live it, can we bring ourselves to trust those times, the times when it feels like absolutely nothing is happening? Because maybe, just maybe, in that quiet, empty space, that moment where the pressure is off and the loop has stopped, the future isn't something we have to desperately build. Maybe it's already there, quietly tuning itself.